to having my bachelor's and my master's in accounting,
magna cum laude,
to working as a professional accountant over the past few years, I've had my fair share of best and worst money habits. And from an accounting perspective, it's very, very easy to tell how successful someone will be down the line just based on their money habits. Now, the most important piece of advice I can give you, and if you remember anything from this video, let it be this. The key to building wealth is a combination of two things: increasing your income, whether it's through income streams or your salary, and increasing your savings and investments. And that's it. If you can master those two rules, I guarantee that you will achieve financial success. Now, if you want to understand how to fix your money habits to follow these two rules, let me give you a quick list of what to avoid. Saving money where you shouldn't. This means investing in things that will improve your quality of life and give you more time for things that matter to you. The first mistake I see people make is trying to be as frugal as possible.
I like money.
And although it is great to save money, you have to build a lifestyle that will last you a lifetime. The key to building great wealth is not to save every penny you earn. No one has ever gotten wealthy just by saving. You need to invest in yourself, especially in areas that will help you get more done throughout your day. Now, everyone is given the same amount of time every day, but how can you invest your money so that you're making the most of your opportunities? And now, I don't mean ordering DoorDash every day so you can avoid having to spend time on cooking. Let me give you some examples of what I actually mean. Do you live in a busy city that's flooded with traffic? Would a $5 toll save you 30 minutes? Instead of thinking, I'll save $5 if I stay in this traffic for the next 30 minutes, think, I can get an extra 30 minutes out of my day for just $5. Learn to assess how much your time is worth, especially if you could use that time for your business or hustle. Here's another example. Instead of using your phone, maybe invest in an alarm clock that will help you avoid hitting the snooze button. I've seen people waste over an hour every morning just to hit the snooze button. This is horrible for your quality of sleep and an even bigger time waster. Maybe consider buying a quality mini cooker or an air fryer so you can make 3 days worth of meals in just 20 to 30 minutes.
Two slaps, home fries in a second.
That's an extra hour you're getting each day that you don't have to worry about cooking. Or even having an egg cooker that can help you make breakfast while you get ready in the morning. Now, these are all great ideas, but don't try to optimize everything.
what?
It's perfectly fine to make a heartfelt dinner for your partner every now and then. Do not sacrifice your happiness for your optimization. Usually. Investing when you can. This is a huge mistake, especially if you're young. This is when you wait until the end of the month to see how much you have left in your bank account, and that decides how much you invest. Instead, what you should be doing is setting up a recurring amount to invest every single month. A super common habit that I've seen with people who have mastered their finances is that they've made a habit of never touching their money. What I mean by this is that they set up their disbursements so that the money they make is automatically distributed to their different accounts. And they never have to think about how much they're going to use for their bills, to put into their brokerage, how much they want to invest or save, or anything. It's all done in a way where they know their bills are being paid, their investments are going up, and the money that they do see is the kind of money that they spend on things they want, aka fun money. But a little more on this later. Another huge mistake, which is cut from the same cloth as investing, is not setting up a recurring amount to save every month. This can also be low, especially if you already have an emergency fund set up. However, if you do not have an emergency savings, which should be about 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, then make sure that the first thing that's coming out of your account every single month is an automatic deposit for your savings and your investings. If you don't have your emergency fund, prioritize savings. Let's say you don't have an emergency fund, and God forbid, you get in a car accident and your car gets totaled. Now you have to pay for a new car and your hospital bill. Good old American healthcare. But if you don't have the money to pay for this, what can you do? Now you'll be forced to take out a loan or use your credit card for something that you can't afford to pay off now, which will drop your credit score, which might increase interest that you have to pay, which means more money down the drain. All because you decided not to have an emergency fund. Now, there are two constants in life: death and taxes. Now, this actually ties me back to my second point with investing. So you know how you get your paycheck every week or two, and you know who decided to take a big chunk of your money. The same thing happens when you make money with investing, unless you use tax-free investment accounts like a Roth IRA. And some accounts, like an HSA, are double tax-free, meaning it's pre-tax money that you're putting in, and then it's money you're taking out that you don't have to pay taxes on. A Roth IRA and an HSA are both accounts that I personally use, and I highly recommend you make the most of them too. You can also heavily reduce the amount of taxes that you have to pay by filing as a business instead of an individual. The amount of write-offs and loopholes that businesses use when filing taxes is ridiculous, but legal. So being able to implement these strategies into your taxes is another way of saving money in places you didn't know you could be saving money on, which is like the second rule that I mentioned earlier. I'm feeling generous, so here's a cool tip. Did you know that your home office is actually tax deductible? For example, if you have a 1,000 square foot house and your home office is 200 square feet, that means that you could deduct 20% of your housing, of your utilities, of your insurance, all that good stuff. Now, this only works if you're self-employed, but don't say I never did nothing for you. Avoiding credit is one of the worst mistakes you can make, aside from not saving and not investing, especially when starting out in your financial journey. Credit is what makes or breaks a good financial foundation, so not developing your credit score early could put you in a very uncomfortable situation down the line, especially if you plan on purchasing a house. You gain absolutely nothing from avoiding a credit card. They can protect you from fraud, and they can help you in situations where you might not have your emergency fund set up yet. So if you do want to avoid using a credit card for some reason, more of an incentive to build your emergency savings. And if you want a quick look at a beginner's guide for credit cards, I have the perfect video for you. Impulse buying. I used to do this a lot when I was younger, but I discovered a trick that really helped me understand when an impulse decision is worth buying. If I was ever tempted to make a purchase, I set a 24-hour timer, and if after a day I still wanted the item, I would buy it. This has helped me really hone down on buys that maybe boosted my dopamine at first, and then later on I realized I didn't need it. Another way to avoid impulse buying, and arguably the most important way, is by setting up a fun money account to use every month. This is like a budget, but really just focusing on the amount of money you're giving yourself to spend on miscellaneous items. Lastly, have you ever gone to a website or a mall for something and then came out with a completely different item? To fix this, make sure you're shopping with a plan and know exactly what you're looking for. That way you can avoid being distracted by items that were literally designed to grab your attention. Another huge tip I learned from, I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say this because everyone mentions it, but Rich Dad Poor Dad, is how common it is for people's incomes and expenses to rise at the same time. Receiving a raise or adding a new stream of income is pointless if you're using that extra money for more expenses. This is super counterintuitive, and it's something I see done like all the time. The last money habit you should avoid is not tracking your expenses. You should know exactly what makes up your cash flow. This means you know every transaction that's leaving money in your account and every transaction that's taking money out of your account. Right now, get out a piece of paper and a pencil. Who am I kidding? Get out your notes app, and from the top of your head, run through your day and make a note of every single recurring charge that you know of. Your housing, groceries, memberships, subscriptions, utilities, everything. Once you are 100% sure that you jotted down everything, go to your bank statement and highlight everything you just listed. Everything that you did not highlight is something you need to decide whether or not it's worth paying for. A great way to track your expenses, and you're probably expecting this, is a budget. Wow, an accountant talking about a budget. I know, very stereotypical, but it's true. One of the best habits you can have is creating and sticking to a budget. But this video is about habits to avoid, not to abide by. So, if you want a video on habits you should be picking up, you may or may not want to subscribe. I can't tell you what to do, but please subscribe. Okay, so now you know 7 crucial money habits that you should be avoiding. If you're interested in learning how you can retire in 10 years and how I plan to do it in even less, you might want to check out a video that I have ready for you. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I have a few links to some free stocks if you open an account with some brokerages that I've personally used. I really hope you learned something new today. If you have any questions about maybe habits that you personally suffer from, leave them in the comments and I'm going to do my best to make sure that I can help you find a solution to them. As always, I have another book to get back to, so I'm going to leave you to it. You have a great week and stay smart.